Today we are talking about lifting things. And if you want to do any type of strength training, especially in your home, you have to learn how to pick up things safely and efficiently from the floor. And that movement is most of the time called a deadlift. There's many different types. You can do it with many different types of equipment. Today I'm going to show you with the 3 types of equipment that I have available at my home. I've covered it before in more detail in other videos I've done in the past. But if you want to be able to deadlift, there's certain prerequisite movements like a glute bridge and a kneeling hip hinge that I want you guys to get really good at. But at minimum, if you don't want to get down on the floor for some strange reason, which we covered it in the standing thing, you should be getting down on the floor. I want you to get a grip of this. It's a standing hip hinge with an anterior reach is the easiest way I found was teaching it. So working on the ability to push your hips back while reaching forward at the same time. Why do we reach forward? It's pretty much just to cue lengthening, because I want the movement of the head and the hips to happen in unison. Why? Because if this moves and this doesn't, oh, your spine rounded. And if this moved, this stays in place, and this moves too far, too quickly, your spine arched. Now, some people are of the belief that you want to have a big arch in the spine when you lift stuff off the floor. I kind of side with the opinion that you want a stiff lever through your spine, right? You want your spine to become a stiff lever. So you want even tension in the front and the back, which keeps it as straight as possible, right? It still has its natural curvature. So I want the head and the hips to move as one. That's number one whenever we lift anything. Head and the hips move as one. Okay? Second is the bar, right? The weight kind of becomes, or at least intervenes with your center of gravity. And you always want to be conscious of where that is, right? Because that usually tells you that your joints are in the best position to move heavy things, right? So pay attention to your feet. Pay attention to having even weight distribution. I'm sorry if you don't like looking at feet. Between this area of your foot, right behind the big toe, this area right behind your pinky toe, and your heel. Some people say the big toe and the back and the outside of the heel. Whatever. The point is there is even weight distribution from left to right and from front to back, which keeps the arch nice and up. And if you can splay those toes, it helps too. So focus on those 2 things. Let's keep it real simple. Head and heel move to head and butt move together, and the feet stay evenly balanced in, out, front, back. Okay? So now, how do we pick heavy things up? Well, the closest that heavy thing is to that center of the foot, the better, right? So if I'm picking up a kettlebell, I want to straddle the thing, right? I want to spread those toes, root my feet, and set my hips back till I can pick it up. See, nice long spine, drive my hips forward. Now my arms are kind of being passive but not, right? I'm not pulling, but I am locking myself into place. Basically the same concept as the feet. I am gripping evenly with the thumb side of my hand and the pinky side of my hand, right? I'm not letting these 2 fingers do most of the gripping, because that's going to throw my elbows out, my shoulders forward, kind of loosen up how tightly I can grip that bar. So I'm going to make sure my pinky fingers are doing their part of the work. And you really squish that pinky finger. You don't feel a contraction down here by your armpit. That's kind of what we're looking for. So squish the pinky fingers. Make sure they're nice and straight. You can look forward or down as long as you're not rounding or arching as you look forward. Arching more than you are currently. And drive the hips forward. Now, notice that my knees aren't traveling forward much. I am just bending them just enough to be able to get in that position. There's nothing wrong with a bit more of a squatty deadlift. So as you go down, as long as you see I'm staying straight, my knees travel farther forward, boom, I can do that, right? Some people with longer spines and shorter in comparison, because I'm short, but I have a really short spine, rather long femurs for my size, rather long arms, need to lean over a lot less, and they need to bend the knees a lot more, because that allows them to stay less over the bar, right? To not get too far over the bar, not let that bar get too far away from their body. With me though, I don't need to bend my knees a lot to keep the bar close because my torso is so short, right? So if you have a longer torso, shorter femurs, you might need more knee bend and more squatty deadlift always, right? I can do a squatty deadlift with kettlebells though, because it's in between my legs. I can also do a squatty deadlift with 2 kettlebells, right? Again, kind of like a trap bar deadlift in between my legs. Now I can also do the more hip hingey, that's a technical term, deadlift with 2 kettlebells. I can kind of pick and choose depending on what I want to do that day. Neither one's wrong because in both movements I am thinking about keeping that weight evenly distributed on my feet, and I am thinking of moving the head and hips at the same time, and I'm thinking of that connection. Again, using both in and out part of the hands, right? Thumb and pinky side of the hands evenly. Now, let's look at other tools. With a barbell, and yes, you do not need fancy equipment. This is a standard, 1-inch bar, kind of the kind you get at Walmart, with standard 1-inch 50-pound plates. And it might be a bit low for me to pick up correctly. And that's important. Those kettlebells were, the handle was higher, and I could pick it up with that nice neutral spine, no problem, right? But look, my hands still have a few inches to go here. And if I bend my knees more to get there, I am pushing the bar forward. The bar is hitting me, and now when I pick it up, it's gonna get in my way. And that's kind of an issue. I don't want that to happen. That's one of the reasons when you're deadlifting a bar, you really wanna do mostly a hip hinge deadlift, not let those knees travel too far forward. Again, some people will still bend the knees more than me because they have a shorter torso and they need to do a squat here. But if I do a squat here, my shins hit that bar right away. So I can, if I really work on it, really get tense up and push my hips back, I can get there. But if I couldn't get there, I would need to lift the bar off the floor. There's nothing wrong. Nobody's saying you have to lift the bar from a certain distance from the floor. We have a standard based on plates that are made, like those 45-pound plates, right, or 20-kilo plates that are used for competition. Who cares, right? If you're lifting for fitness, who cares? Get something to elevate. Like I could use these blocks to elevate and pick up the bar from a possibly better position for me. So, look, if I lift the bar up a little bit, I have absolutely no problem getting there with a perfectly neutral spine. And then I can drive up and come down, right? There is no contest, there is no prize for who has the greatest hip range of motion. If you want to develop more, develop it slowly, right? Stretch, work on your sitting positions, which I'll make a video of sitting positions at some point. Practicing sitting is stretching, stretching is practicing sitting. And then you can also lower the bar gradually, right? Get used to a weight at a particular height and lower it gradually. All good ways of increasing that range of motion. Now, a lot of you are asking, why don't you do sumo, right? And by the way, this video is not for lifters. This video is for people who don't lift, right? Who are not used to picking up heavy stuff on the floor. There's a lot of technical things that good strength athletes should know. Not appropriate for, not what I'm talking about today. So, a sumo deadlift is where you hold the bar in between, right? Again, the bar is still over my feet. It's still over my center of gravity. I'm still thinking of spraying those toes, rooting my feet, even weighting the toes and the pinky toes and the heel. And I'm still thinking of moving the head and the hips together. But if I open my legs up and grab in between my feet, I am going to be able to make it a bit more squatty. And there's nothing right or wrong with that. It's just different. And I can drive my hips forward. So, a bit more squatty, not a bad thing, right? Depends on what you like best and how your body mechanics work. But my squatty is not going to be anywhere near as squatty as somebody really built for squatting, right? You see those people with really short little legs and long torsos and they squat perfectly upright. It's just different. So, where am I going with this? I forgot. Now, I'm going to show you my next tool, right? Instead, I want to do 3 tools. My next tool is going to be a sandbag. So with my sandbag, again, it's in front of me like the barbell, right? I can't put it really behind me. I can though put it right on my feet, right? Because, well, it's a sandbag, right? It won't squish my feet. And I can push my hips back, grab it just the same by the handles, and drive the hips forward. Nothing changes. It's the same movement. The head and hips move together. This actually becomes a really short one because of the slack of the handles. Right? Of course, whatever, the different handles work the same, right? It doesn't really make a difference. Obviously, you can deadlift just one arm at a time, right? If I'm deadlifting the sandbag, I'm going to do what's called a suitcase deadlift. Same thing, hips back, head forward, move together. Make sure to keep even weight on the opposite side. Boom, lift. Now, is the weight going to pull me this way? Yeah. But I try to keep it even. That's the whole point of the exercise. Maybe I'm missing something. Ask me questions. It's kind of the point of this. Just trying to teach online, through videos, social media. I don't really know what I'm doing. So, help me out. Ask me questions if there's any. Thank you. Have a nice day.